Hi. Have there been similar contentions about climate change in other religious groups abroad, like Christians in Europe?
Surprisingly, or not surprisingly, no. In other words, it's a unique American phenomenon, this adverse reaction to the science of climate change among evangelicals, at least. And so the evangelicals in Europe and elsewhere, India, China, look at the United States and say, truly amazing. What is happening that you're so blind to what is occurring to us? Because if all you have to do is look at the longitudinal lines of London, have you ever looked at a map and looked at where London is vis-a-vis Washington and New York, and how far north it is? If you look longitudinally, I think you'll find it's about Nova Scotia. If you've seen what rising sea levels will do, a mere 2 degrees centigrade rise will do to our nation's seaports is utterly astonishing and predicted by current emission levels to be a fact by 2100. Now you can dispute this, but those believers, for example, in England, they don't have this disputation over the science. And neither do they do amongst evangelicals around the world. And so you have to look at America and say, wow, what has happened?
When they ask you that, when they're amazed at that, what has happened? What's your answer? Why is this a unique?
One of my answers is that it took 100 years from the abolishment of the slave trade in the United Kingdom to the same to occur here. Now, 100 years. 100 years. How could people have been so blind for so long? And yet they were. Now, in England, it was the sugar cubes in their tea. In America, it was the cheap cotton for their clothes. And yet, will, I ask, our human successors look back 100 years from now and say, isn't it totally amazing that the United States Congress could so decisively reject action, and even by its leaders, on one party at least, even dispute the reality of the science? What will they say about us is the question.